The Walking Dead half seasons ranked. As many of you know, I do a lot of Walking Dead ranking videos. I always rank the Walking Dead seasons after the season's over with, but I've never ranked the Walking Dead half seasons, as currently there are 22 half seasons with a few alterations. Season 1 being one complete season, only 6 episodes. And then Season 2 through Season 9 was split up into 2 halves, the first half and the second half. And then, of course, Season 10, we got three it's split into threes with the bonus episodes. And then our current season, Season 11, the final season of The Walking Dead, has 3 different halves. 8 episodes left, and I wanted to rank all these, so there's 22 of them. Now, obviously, there's going to be spoilers, but I'm not going to go into a lot of details. I'm going to talk about the episodes that I liked in the half season, and then kind of move on to the next one. This was a very difficult list to do, especially when we got to the middle towards the top. It was kind of like, well, I like this episode better, I like this episode better. Okay, in this season, I like this episode better in this episode, but the third episode I like isn't as good as the third episode in this season. So it was a very hard list to do, and I'm sure it'll change. The next time if I do this, I'm sure it'll change and be completely different. So we're going to disagree, so just know that ahead of time. So let's start this off with in my opinion, the worst half season of The Walking Dead, coming in 22nd place, and that would be The Walking Dead Season 10A, or the first half of The Walking Dead Season 10. Not a lot happened in this first half. They find the satellite. Michonne goes to Oceanside. She wants to get weapons with Virgil. The only good episode, in my opinion, that I remember to a degree was What It Always Is, and that was the episode where the Brandon kid was kind of looking up to Negan, and he lets Negan out, and they go on a journey, and then Negan ends up killing him because he killed the kid and the mom that he was with. So that was the only good episode in the first half of Season 10, in my opinion, so that's why The Walking Dead Season 10 Part 1 comes in 22nd place. Coming in 21st place is The Walking Dead Season 7 Part 2, or Season 7 Part B. There were a few good episodes in this season, but in my opinion, it was a lot of build up to the next season. I liked the episode Bury Me Here, which was focused on Morgan and the Kingdom. Not everybody did. Now, the other episode that I really liked, which I think is the standout episode of this half of the season, is The First Day of the Rest of Your Life, and that's when the Saviors go to Alexandria, but then the Kingdom and the Hilltops show up, and they actually defeat the Saviors, not fully defeat them, but they make the Saviors retreat in that episode, and that's the episode where the Junkyard people turned on our folks from Alexandria. And I really liked the episode. The Negan lines were hilarious, with Negan saying, the widow's back with she's got a tiger, or they got a tiger and the widow's back, guns a-blazing. Hilarious. No need to go into the details about the episode, but that's why I put Season 7B in 21st place, because I think there's only one really, really solid episode, and then one maybe, in my opinion, Bury Me Here, and that's the Morgan episode of The Kingdom. So that's why that comes in at 21st place. Coming in 20th place, and a lot of people would disagree and say this is lower. I'm going to disagree slightly with that, and that would be The Walking Dead Season 10 Part 3, or The Walking Dead Season 10 Part C. That was the bonus episodes of Season 10, filmed during a lot of restrictions due to COVID. And obviously the standout episode in this part of The Walking Dead Season 10 was Here's Negan. Phenomenal episode. Now, I also like the episode Home Sweet Home, and that was the first episode we got where Maggie and Negan see each other, and just the look. I really liked that episode. I wasn't expecting a lot from it, and I think the episode delivered, although a lot of people don't talk about it. It's actually one of my favorite episodes of The Walking Dead. It's in my top 25, and I really like it. Now, a lot of people will like the Gabriel and Aaron episode. It's okay, but I don't consider it an elite episode of The Walking Dead. The Daryl and Leah episode was okay at best, but it wasn't that great. And then you have the really, really stupid episodes of The Walking Dead with the Princess episode that was just, I don't know, it needed more to it. It was really bad. And then the Carol episode with Dog and her trying to find a mouse or a rat, I can't remember what it was. Just awful. Those 2 episodes, in my opinion, are very awful. And that's why I put The Walking Dead Season 10 Part 3, or Part C, in 20th place. Here's Negan really made that higher just because that's such an amazing episode. Coming in 19th place, I'm going to give that to The Walking Dead Season 8 Part 2 or The Walking Dead Season 8 Part B. You have Honor. That was the Carl death episode. A lot of people don't like that episode, the episode where he officially died. But I think it's okay. But then, of course, you have the episode The Key, where Rick goes after Negan. I like that episode. Some people don't, but I think it was decent. But it's not strong enough to carry the season. The finale should have been such an epic episode, but it really wasn't at all, other than the fact that Eugene sabotaged the guns, so they killed all the saviors, essentially. So I had to put Season 8, Part B, or Part 2 in 19th place. All right, now you're really going to disagree with me. Coming in 18th place, I'm actually going to put The Walking Dead Season 1 as a whole, because there was no break in between there. I think The Walking Dead Season 1 has some really good episodes, but there's really nothing amazing except for the Walking Dead pilot episode, Days Gone By, with Morgan and Rick. That's the standout episode of the season. Everything else was good. Was it really upper echelon Walking Dead episodes? I don't think so. So I had to put Season 1 in 18th place. Another disagreement coming in 17th place. I'm actually going to put The Walking Dead Season 4 Part B. What? The people love The Walking Dead Season 4, and I think it's a good season, but there's really only a few good episodes in my opinion. In Part B, doesn't really have that many. Now, a lot of people like The Grove, and that's the episode where Carol tells Lizzie to look at the flowers, and then you have the finale, A. If the finale wouldn't have been a cliffhanger, I probably would have liked it a lot more. It's good, but I don't consider it a really top episode. And then The Grove, I'm kind of indifferent on. It's good, but I don't know. I guess I don't think highly of them. Of course, in another season, I'm going to say the exact same thing, but say the opposite, and then my logic doesn't make any sense. But that's why, because I think the season should have ended with more chaos, and it kind of did, but it's a cliffhanger. But that's why I put the Season 4 Part B or Part 2 in 17th place, and I know you've canceled me with that one. Number 16, I am going to put The Walking Dead Season 3 Part 2 or Walking Dead Season 3 Part B. I think the first half of the season was really good, and then the second half, while it's good, the episodes aren't fantastic. Now you have This Sorrowful Life, the Merle episode where he takes Michonne essentially as his prisoner, and he's going to deliver her to the governor. But then Merle has a change of heart and decides that he's going to try to take out the governor by himself. And Merle is a badass for that. Of course, you get Daryl crying at the end of the episode, which is heartbreaking. And then, of course, the standout episode of this half of The Walking Dead, in my opinion, would be Clear. Morgan returns to The Walking Dead for one episode, and I absolutely loved that. Now, the finale of this season, which actually I don't recall the episode title, is it Welcome to the Tombs? I can't remember. It could have been so much better. You get the death of Andrea, but it's kind of very anticlimactic, in my opinion. That should have been a phenomenal episode, and they had that episode in Season 4 with Too Far Gone, but it got delayed. So, my opinion, Walking Dead Season 3 Part B is in 16th place. Number 15. Now, some may agree, some may not. I'm going to go with The Walking Dead Season 5 Part B or The Walking Dead Season 5 Part 2. While I think the episodes are good, again, they're not super epic. I think The Distance was a good episode. From what I remember, I think that's where you get another Glenn fake-out death, but it's not like the dumpster one. It's just like he's in trouble a lot in the episode and you think he might die. And then the last 4 episodes of the season, a lot of people like. I think they're good. Conquer obviously is great because you get the return of Morgan. That's just not an end credits scene. So that was awesome. But other than that, I really don't like the half of the season. And season 5 is a really good season. I think it starts off with the episode where, spoiler alert, obviously, Tyrese dying. I think that was kind of lame. They could have done a much better job with that episode, and it had too much, like, I don't know. In my opinion, obviously, it's towards the, well, I guess it's not towards the top because 22 it would be like 11 would be towards the top. But I put The Walking Dead season 5, part B or part 2, number 15. Number 14, I'm going to go with The Walking Dead season 2, part A. And a lot of these now, I'm looking at the episodes I really liked versus the other seasons of episodes I really like. And The Walking Dead part 2, obviously it's the farm for the majority of the season, and it's not that entertaining, but you have a good start and you have a good finish, in my opinion. And of course, the start is what lies ahead. Awesome episode with them hiding under the cars and the walkers on the highway. And I really like that episode. It's one of the better premieres. Well, I guess there's 3 really good premieres that I'm thinking of, or 4 or 5. I don't know. It's too hard to keep track of all these premieres now. And then the other episode, obviously, is the mid-season finale with them finding out that Sophia has been in the barn all this time and pretty much dead already. Amazing episode. But everything in between that wasn't the best. A lot of slow episodes, and that's why it's higher up because of the 2 ones it has, but everything else is kind of meh. Second half is much better, and we'll get to that in a moment. But The Walking Dead season 2, part A or part 1 comes in 14th place. Number 13 is one I wanted to put a little bit higher, but then I had to look and be like, well, yeah. I went with The Walking Dead season 7, part A. Now, I really like the episode The Day Will Come When You Won't Be. Crazy episode for reactions on YouTube, of course. That's the episode where we lose Abraham. Yes, we lost Abraham. People forget that. And we lost Glenn. I think it was Glenn's time to go. Obviously, I would have liked Glenn to stay on the show, but he was kind of getting stale. In my opinion, obviously, I wanted him to stay, but I actually think Abraham would have had a lot more to give the show because he wasn't featured as much in the show. So that was very heartbreaking. I like the episode Sing Me a Song. That's where Negan or Carl goes to the sanctuary, and Negan kind of takes him under his wing and is nice to him, and he's like, man, I wouldn't wear that eye patch. You're a badass. I think that's a good episode. It's not very highly rated, but I really like it. And then the mid-season finale, Heart Still Beating, where Negan goes to Alexandria and kills Spencer, and because Rosita does something to him, he's like, a rat kills somebody, and then she kills Olivia. I think that episode is solid, but not much else, unfortunately, because you had the boring bottled episodes with, Swear, The Cell, The Well, you get Easy Street. That's why I had to put season 7A. As much as I like that premiere, it's one of my favorite episodes. It's my number 2 right now on my ranking of episodes, in 13th place. Number 12. Okay, get ready to disagree and cancel me if you haven't already. I'm going to go with The Walking Dead season 4, part 1, or Walking Dead season 4, part A. Yes. I think season 4 is overrated, aside from a few episodes. Obviously, you have one of the best episodes in The Walking Dead in Too Far Gone, and you have Internment, the Herschel episode, where Herschel essentially is the main guy at the prison doing stuff on one leg. And I really liked those 2 episodes. Everything else wasn't the greatest. You start off with the premiere, 30 Days Without an Incident. Not that exciting. You have the 2 Governor episodes, which I actually like the Governor episodes, but they weren't that entertaining in the grand scheme of things. And you also have, I don't remember any of the other episodes. It's mainly the Sickness, the Governor episodes, and then Too Far Gone. And that's why I had to put this lower than most people would. The Walking Dead season 4, part A, as my number 12. Now we're kind of at the halfway point where I really like these seasons, and this one is really going to baffle you. It even kind of baffles me, but I'm going with The Walking Dead season 8, part A, or The Walking Dead season 8, part 1. I think this episode has some really action-packed episodes to start the season. They started with the 100th episode of The Walking Dead, and I think that was a letdown, in my opinion. But the next 3 episodes were really good, and then the rest of it was kind of lame to a degree. I liked The Damned. That would be The Walking Dead Season 8, Part 2. Awesome episode. You get the return of Morales at the end, which is crazy. You get Morgan like James Bond shooting everybody and just being 007. You get the next episode, which is Monsters, which was more action. And I can't remember what episode 4 was called, but I think it followed kind of the same thing. And then they kind of slowed down a bit. You get the finale of the season, how it's got to be with the ending of you finding out Carl was bit in the premiere when he was helping Sadiq. Was it the premiere? No, it wasn't the premiere. It was later on. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I know you find out that he was bit in the mid-season finale. Yeah, a lot of people put this lower, but I really like the kind of the action for the first half of the season. Now, the second half, I think it's a letdown, but the first half, I think, was a lot better than what people think. Maybe it should be lower on the list, and it may be. The next time I do this list, maybe it's 5 or 6 spots lower, but as of this moment, I put it ahead of Season 7A. Whatever, my opinion, Walking Dead, Season 8, Part A is my number 11. I mean, all these seasons I like. Just keep in mind, all these half seasons I really like. Coming in 10th place would be The Walking Dead, Season 9, Part B. I really liked the episode Choke Point. I liked Scares. That's the Michonne episode where you have her friend coming to Alexandria. It's a flashback. And then her having to kill all the kids at the end, or not all of them, but a few of the kids. That's where they get branded. I think that was in season 9. And I really like that. And then you have, of course, the crazy episode, The Calm Before, the Pike lineup, where we lose Enid, we lose Enid, we lose Henry, and we lose Tara, and all the other people, the 2 Highwaymen people, Rodney and Addie, Tammy Rose. We lost DJ, and all those characters, but that was a phenomenal episode, and the music was so great. But other than that, there's nothing else. If they would have had one more good episode, I think it would have made it much higher. But as it stands right now, The Walking Dead Season 9 Part B is my number 10. My number 11, really solid season. I'm going with, well, so far, The Walking Dead Season 11 Part B. People might disagree and think this should be lower, but I liked No Other Way a lot. Of course, that was the mid-season premiere. Warlords was really good because you find out that Negan's a part of another group and he's trying to help our group out. The next episode, the Rotten Core, and that character of Toby Carlson, was fucking amazing. That guy was a badass. I need to do my top 10 villains of The Walking Dead because he certainly would make that list. And then the finale, or the mid-season finale, because it's in the 3 halves, would be Acts of God, which I think was really good. And the part where Maggie tells Negan she's beginning to trust him. I really like the Maggie Negan stuff, so that's kind of higher in my opinion than some people's, but that's why they put The Walking Dead Season 11 Part B, as it stands right now, is my number 9. My number 8 is going to be The Walking Dead Season 6 Part A. Yes, Season 6 is a really good season of The Walking Dead, and it has some really good episodes. I think JSS, Just Survive Somehow, and Thank You are the standouts of the first half of the season. And then you have the Morgan and Eastman episode of Here's Not Here, which I really like. It's not one of my favorites of all time, but I think it's a solid episode to kind of complement the other 2. So 3 really good episodes. Maybe it should be 1 spot lower. I don't know, but JSS was so crazy. I remember about 15 minutes into that episode, I was kind of dozing off a little bit, and I was about to post something on Facebook. Well, The Walking Dead is going to put me to sleep tonight. And then the wolves show up at Alexandria, and it gets crazy as heck. And then, of course, you have Thank You, which was a really solid episode until you find out that Glenn is still alive, which I already knew he wasn't going to die in that episode because there was nobody else around to see it happen. It needs to have an emotional impact on some other characters. So still a phenomenal episode. So Thank You and JSS are definitely really good. And Here's Not Here, I think, was good in its own mind. Kind of reminds me of a Fear the Walking Dead episode, a good Fear the Walking Dead episode. But that's why I put Season 6 Part A or Season 6 Part 1 as my number 8. My number 7 is going to be The Walking Dead Season 9 Part A. That, of course, has the obliged What Comes After, Rick Grimes at the moment, final episode of The Walking Dead, and you have Evolution, where Jesus gets killed by a walker that's not really a walker, a whisperer at the end. Really solid season. I wish there was one more to kind of put it over the top, but I only chose 3 in the obliged. You could argue that that's not that great, but I definitely think What Comes After is amazing, and Evolution, for the most part, is pretty good, and that's why I put The Walking Dead Season 9, Part A, or Part 1 as my number 7. Give my throat a little break here. My number 6 is going to be The Walking Dead Season 3, Part A. Now, this has some really good episodes in it, and I would say those are Seed, which not a lot of people talk about as a good episode, but the premiere of Season 3 is actually really good. I really like that episode a lot. It kind of combines elements of Season 2 to a degree, with them like together and on the road. And then you, of course, have Killer Within, which I think is one of the best episodes of The Walking Dead, easily. Love that episode. So good. That was the first episode of The Walking Dead where I was like, man, this show's fucking great. And then, of course, the mid-season premiere, Made to Suffer, where it ends with Merle and Daryl facing off at Woodbury. 3 really solid episodes. There's no argument to me of these episodes not being solid. Although Made to Suffer's not high in my rankings, I don't think it's on my top 25. It's a really good episode. It just isn't quite as high as some episodes are. But Seed and Killer Within definitely are good. Killer Within obviously being the standout, and that's why Walking Dead Season 3, Part A, or Part 1 is my number 6. This was kind of the hard part, to determine these next 3, what was ahead of each, what was better than which. So my number 5 is going to be The Walking Dead Season 5, Part A. Really good episodes. You start with an amazing episode in No Sanctuary. You have the 4 Walls in a Room episode where the cannibals, the termites, the terminus people get slaughtered, and then you have Strangers. And I think Coda was okay. That's the mid-season finale where, unfortunately, Beth dies and Daryl carries her out, and Maggie breaks down. No Sanctuary was awesome. 4 Walls in a Room, I'm not super high on, but I understand it's an amazing episode, but it's not one of my favorites. Coda could be off. Strangers, it's who knows, but I think Season 5, Part A is a really good first half. If they wouldn't have went to the hospital and had those episodes with just focusing on Beth, Noah, and Dawn, I think Season 5 would be much higher. But as it stands right now, Season 5, Part A is my number 5. My number 4, which could change depending on, my next ranking, but I think it may change. Could be higher, could be lower. I'm going to go with The Walking Dead Season 11, Part A. Now, some people don't like this. I love it. Acheron Part 1 and Acheron Part 2, if I'm saying that right, is 2 solid episodes. And again, it focuses on Maggie and Negan, which I like. The part where Negan tells Maggie, I'm living in her head, rent-free. Hilarious. I love that whole stuff with Negan not helping her at the end of the first part. And then the craziness that happens at the end of the second part with the people from Leah's group. I'm forgetting the Reapers. I forgot their name for a second there. And then On the Inside, I think was a decent episode. That was the Connie and Virgil episode, kind of like a horror movie. Very big horror movie vibes. And of course, the reuniting of Connie and Kelly at the end of the episode. And then the mid-season premiere, or the mid-season finale for Blood, I think was pretty good, but I really like Acheron Part 1, Acheron Part 2, and On the Inside, and that's why I put Season 11 Part A, or Season 11 Part 1, as my number 4. My number 3, I think this is a very underrated half of The Walking Dead, and that would be The Walking Dead Season 2 Part 1, The Walking Dead Season 2 Part 2, or The Walking Dead Season 2 Part B, however you want to call it. I think 18 Miles Out, awesome. I wanted to say 8 Mile with the Eminem movie, with Rick and Shane having their feud in the episode was really good and underrated. You have Judge, Jury, and Executioner with them debating on what to do with Randall and Dale. Like, we can't do this. This is not humane. We need to, help him and make him a part of our community. He doesn't want to kill Randall. And then, of course, Dale dies at the end, which I'm upset about, but it's a memorable episode. You have Better Angels, Shane's last appearance in The Walking Dead, alive and not a hallucination. Great episode. You made me do this to you, Shane. And then, of course, you have the finale of season 2, which I think is the best episode of all of them, beside the dying fire. Very underrated episode, but fucking crazy episode, except for the fact that Herschel has unlimited shotgun shells in his shotgun. But super great half of the season. And if you don't have it high in your ranking of the seasons, then what's going on with you? But that's why that's my number 3. My number 2, again, 2, 3, and 4 were kind of hard, but I went with The Walking Dead Season 10 Part B. I don't like The Walking Dead Season 10 first half at all, but the second half is fucking awesome. And then, of course, you had the bonus episodes which weren't planned, but then they added them in there. You had Stalker, that's where the episode where Beta shows up at Alexandria through the grave of sorts, and is like Michael Myers in the episode. Awesome episode. You have Morningstar, another great episode of The Walking Dead with them, attacking the hilltop. You have Walk With Us. That's the episode where Negan kills Alpha. Crazy good episode of The Walking Dead. And then Carol's like, it took you long enough. Great moment. You have What We Become, which a lot of people don't like. Michonne's last episode of The Walking Dead. I actually like it. I like the different scenes that they splice together with Michonne being on the Savior side, and then we see Glenn, we see Heath that we haven't seen for a while on The Walking Dead. I think that was really solid episode as well. And then, of course, the finale of the season. Well, what was supposed to be the finale of the season, A Certain Doom. I really like A Certain Doom, and apparently not a lot of people rank it as high as I do. It's one of my top 10 favorite episodes of The Walking Dead. I really like that episode. I think that could be a finale of the series. It's, in my opinion, that good. Now, Beta and the Whispers kind of got taken out a little bit easier than we expected, but I think it was still good. We get the return of Maggie in this episode. Father Gabriel is almost slaughtered by the Whispers. Who would have known that Father Gabriel would become one of everybody's favorite characters? The moment he was about to die, whew, I was like, no. And then Maggie, Elijah, and Aaron saved Gabriel, and that was so great. So that's why I put The Walking Dead Season 10 Part B, or Season 10 Part 2, as my number 2. So, have you figured out what my favorite half season of The Walking Dead is? I went with The Walking Dead Season 6 Part B. I really like The Walking Dead Season 6 as a whole, but I think this half season gave us a lot of memorable episodes. Now, some will disagree with one of these, but No Way Out, best episode of The Walking Dead thus far. Love that episode. You have Not Tomorrow Yet, where the Alexandria people, the Hilltop people, they go to the Savior's outpost and they slaughter all the Saviors in their sleep, and Gabriel becomes a badass for the first time. Such an amazing episode. You have The Same Boat, which is a Maggie and Carol focused episode, and I actually really like that episode. Upon a second viewing of it, or maybe it was my third viewing of it, but when I recently did my rewatch of The Walking Dead about a year ago or a year and a half ago, that episode actually stood out a lot more than it did initially, and I really liked it, and I thought it was really good. And then, of course, you have the finale of Season 6, which a lot of people hate because it's a cliffhanger. And remember I said that The Walking Dead Season 4, the finale, I didn't like it because it was a cliffhanger. Well, this one I actually really liked because it was really intense, and it really was like, our group is fucked. We are fucked. We keep going to these different parts of trying to go this way on the road, this way on the road, this way on the road, and the Saviors are blocking all of the ways to get away. And it's really great. Of course, you get the cliffhanger ending with Negan killing one of the members of our group, which turned out to be Abraham. And I don't know if that was actually planned. As far as when they ended the season, they knew that Abraham and Glenn were going to die. I think they should have gave us one of the deaths at the end of Season 6, if that's what they were planning to do, and then gave us the other death at the end of Season 7, or at the beginning of Season 7. Then people would love this episode. I really hate the fact that Abraham is the one that ended up dying. I think he had a few more seasons to give on the show. Of course, Glenn, everybody loves Glenn. I like Glenn too, but I think, he's kind of getting stale. Got to do something different with them. But I still love the season, obviously, with or the half season with No Way Out, Not Tomorrow Yet, The Same Boat, and The Last Day on Earth. And that's why I put that as my number one, at the moment, favorite half season, The Walking Dead. Walking Dead Season 6, Part B, or Walking Dead Season 6, Part 2. So, there is my ranking. This was a very hard ranking to do. If you have the endurance to do a ranking like this, where you have to rank all 22 of the parts of The Walking Dead, make sure you leave that ranking in the comments section. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead, smash that like button. Give me your predictions for the final season of The Walking Dead. I know it was advertised that Rick Grimes' final episode was going to be in season 9, but is Rick Grimes going to return? Is Rick Grimes going to be an end credits scene? What will we get with Rick? I know we're going to get something with Rick. I think we're going to hear his voice on the radio. That's my opinion personally. So give me your predictions for The Walking Dead season 11, part C or part 3. Who's going to survive? Who's going to die? Are the spinoff shows bullshit? And they're just saying that to fool us. Is there really going to be a Negan and Maggie spinoff? Is there really going to be a Daryl spinoff show? Is Carol going to survive now that she's off the supposed spinoff show? I think their spinoff shows are legit, but a lot of people are saying they're not. So leave all your predictions in the comments section. And, of course, last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.